You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit gearhandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
BooBaes.
So that's not good.
No, we don't like that.
Anyways, cancel Clean and Clear 2023 because this is the last episode of 2022.
This is.
And welcome to
BooBaes.
Look at that. That was flawless. We are your hosts. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Joshua.
And that was our episode on skincare.
It was.
But now we're going to tell you about a nice horror film, Christmas horror film, even though Christmas has come and gone by like a day, right?
2 days?
2 days.
Yeah, because it was on Sunday.
This is the 27th.
It was on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm going to act like we're here. It was on Sunday.
I had such a great Christmas.
Yeah, me too.
I hope I do anyways.
Didn't see Evil Santa this year, so
thank God.
Survived it.
Let's make sure. Yeah, if one of these, what ends up being his elves or whatever, nah.
Nope.
When there was just one of them, it was creepy enough.
Yeah, and I thought that was the bad Santa, but it turns out not. Yeah.
It's the elves. There's a bunch of little
They were
Santas.
so creepy.
They were running around with their pee-pees out.
Plop,
plop, plop, plop. And they were real small because they were all cold.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good explanation. I just thought,
or they just all had small
all like
penises.
Old little creepy men. I was like, with little pee-pees, so it just kind of fit. But what are we talking about today?
We are talking
make it all
about
make sense.
the Finnish 2010 film Rare Exports.
Semicolon.
A Christmas Tale. Right?
It's a good
name.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It is. Yes, it is.
I was like, oh God,
right
what if I say it wrong?
Yeah, it's like she said, Finnish from Finland. So I would say like 90% of this movie, not in English.
Yes.
But it does have subtitles. And there is some parts of it that are in English because they're all Americans in the movie.
That have been hired, or at least people who speak
English, yeah.
English.
Not necessarily maybe an American. That's true.
But they did call him American.
Yeah,
the guy, whoever they had the passport for. Mr. Green.
Mm-hmm.
They had Mr. Green's passport.
Brian Johnson or something like Green.
Yeah. And that did say American. It looked like my passport. So
yeah, it did. I mean,
I guess it is. However, the main, like the guy who was in charge of all of it, he didn't give American.
He didn't give American. He gave German or something, or like
something evil. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God,
just kidding. Germans. Also, my last name is Klein. I'm like super German.
I'm like getting canceled by the German community.
That's like 1/2 of my DNA is German.
In the 23andMe report.
The other half Scotch Irish.
Which I just
white.
watched a movie. Did you see totally off topic, The Invitation? Have you seen it? The newer one that came out? There's like 3 different kinds.
Okay,
but
I was like, I feel like I have seen, okay, if it's a new one, no. Because I've seen the one where they go.
It's like a dinner party or something. No. This is a whole separate thing. This is new. It's on, and it's streaming right now.
It's not even the same premise? It's not like a remake?
No.
Why couldn't they choose
It's an invitation to a wedding.
Name?
It's an invitation to a wedding.
Oh, is this the vampire one?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember seeing the, because it gave me that one with what's her face in it.
Which one? Who's a vampire?
No, but she is like brought home and she's someone's fiance, and then they have to like fight to the one where everyone explodes
with
in
the
the
wedding
end.
dress. Yeah. Ready or not.
Ready or not.
Yeah.
Because it gave me that whenever I saw the trailer.
And she has to like try to survive it.
But then also, I've never seen the actual movie. I just remember going, is this a vampire version of Ready or Not?
Yeah.
And then also probably being like, aren't there so many other movies named The Invitation?
There
like, you
are.
couldn't think of anything else.
Well,
The Wedding Invitation. That makes it
The
sound like
Wedding
a
Planner.
rom-com.
Exactly. No, but
Wedding Planner is so
that
good.
essentially is the twist in the movie. Spoiler alert.
Is it they're vampires?
Yeah, because you don't know that throughout like the first half of it.
The trailer gave it away.
I didn't even watch the trailer.
Oh, okay, yeah, because in
my
the
bad.
trailer, I was like, these bitches are vampires.
Oh, okay. You definitely get that vibe
So-
after the fact. You're like, oh yeah, these bitches, that makes sense. They're vampires.
Whoever the fuck made that trailer, do better.
For real.
Because
Spoiled it.
you gave the whole twist away.
And so, yeah.
Kind of like, don't worry, darling.
But it was pretty good. Honestly, I ain't mad at it. I thought it was actually pretty good. And I also do like a good creature movie. So like,
What's it streaming on?
it's streaming on Prime. I think I rented it for like $5.99 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Possibly.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I watched it with Robert. So Robert really rented it for like $5.99. But like,
Again,
yeah.
this podcast brought to you by, sponsored by.
But the boyfriends of BooBaes.
Yes.
So back to rare exports.
That's right.
2010 Finnish. We said it was, mostly in Finnish, right?
Finish.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was like it's only an hour and like 20 minutes. Super digestible. We always talk about that. Like it's
Yeah.
super like, easy
Bite
watch.
size.
Yeah, which we love. And also like it doesn't feel like sometimes you watch a movie that's not in English and it kind of almost feels like you're kind of not, I wouldn't say struggling, but like, you're trying to like, you're, what's it called? Intaking so much, with the subtitles and
You
stuff.
have to be 1000%
exactly
paying attention.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, because there are a lot of the times, and
You
again,
miss it, you blink an eye and you miss something. You know?
and especially like, as we all know, I watch a fuck ton of anime, and a lot of the times they're speaking hella fucking fast. And then so if I like, and I'm also trying to intake everything, so I am pretty good at reading subtitles. And of course, like I watch all my movies with subtitles. But there are many times where if like I get distracted by the slightest thing, I have to rewind a few seconds
Well, I find myself
and then rewatch again.
I
did do
was
that
writing
with
the
this.
notes, because I would write the note, like I'm trying to write something on there, and it's kind of hard to like sometimes like, and so I'm just like writing on the notes, and then because sometimes when you're writing notes for the movies that are in English, like I can still hear dialogue that's happening, so I still pick up what's happening. With this, I'm like, oh, I just missed like a whole
Conversation.
something changed, because I was trying to write what I had just heard.
And then again, it's a short movie.
So it's so fast. You
There's
get a lot.
there's not a lot of empty shots.
No, everything is pretty much.
It was nice and right to the point.
Direct the plot, and keep it going. And yeah, it's honestly horror, but like also kind of like a family Christmas time type of movie. You still get that feeling because the relationship and the bond that you get between, well, especially with our main protagonist, Petri. But I call him PT in my notes.
And I call him P. Petri.
Petri, that's his name.
Rauno is his dad.
Yeah. Their relationship and kind of what you see between them, it really kind of pulls at the heartstrings a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, because you get a little bit of
a horror movie.
Oh yeah, and you get a little bit of kind of some of their backstory like put in. You don't really know what happened, but you know that the mom's not in the picture. She's dead, and that the relationship between the father and son at first seems incredibly strained. P just kind of does whatever he wants, but is also a good kid. Like, I feel like he's not up to nothing bad.
You can tell already, like, this little kid is he wants to, like, make his dad proud. He's seeking that approval. But also on the other end, you have this father who, throughout most of the movie, is very emotionally, like, shut down. Not there. Like, he is emotionally not there. He also seems like he can't handle any emotion, because anytime that something comes up that makes him either ponder or question or express any type of sentiment, he's really, I don't want to say like he's not harsh, but he when you like, divert the attention or you try to make something else, or when the little boy is trying to be like, are good boys, am I a good boy? And he's like, good boys would be
boys
asleep.
are in bed
Only
by
because
now.
he didn't want to talk about, he was obviously triggered when he started bringing up his mom and all those things. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also just, I don't know. He was like, whenever he threw him, basically, when they needed to open up that electrified fence thing and stuff, I was like, sir, that's your son.
Yeah.
Like,
but I feel like, especially, well, I don't know. I feel like dads can sometimes be like more rough, obviously. With their boys, But obviously that was a bit more of like a...
Yeah, he was like, move, bitch. Like, he didn't say that. But yeah. And then towards the end, like we said, yes, it is much more...
But it adds to their
has
growth.
an actual familial feel.
Yeah.
And probably because, well, the kid brought them a fuck ton of money and he really saved all their asses.
He saved Christmas.
He did.
Sure did. And also just like the sheer, like, by the time that you watch the end of the movie with PT, like his whole, like, he really takes the reins. Like you see this little boy almost become a man,
It was insane. I was like, damn, Pete, get it.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell are you doing all this?
Literally. And they're just taking orders and just like, going along with it. That part at the end, we'll get to it. I guess it really got me when he was in the reindeer pin thing.
Yeah.
The like,
I know. I was like, oh my God. Most of my notes just say, no. Oh my God, no. Like, please don't. That's sad.
But going into it, do you want to go ahead and start it off?
Yes.
Dive in. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. It opens up with the office type of scene. Those type of like what are those things called? Like school things that are out portable, like a portable building. Yeah. Very much like that you would have like at a construction site.
Mm-hmm.
And we have him. It gave me very House of Gucci.
Yes, that's exactly what I was just thinking. I was like, Lady Gaga had one.
Yeah, and she fucked in it.
Yep, she did. Her and Adam Driver.
All over the desk. And so we have it opening on there. We obviously see some dude talking to another dude, but it's like a behind shot. So you can tell that this other dude is in charge.
Yeah.
And he's saying like, we were drilling and we found something, and it's obviously strange because he wants to show him, but he already knew because they were kind of, I guess the other dude, like they knew they were drilling, but obviously not for, they didn't know.
I don't think they knew the purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now he's like, I kind of see why now this is all kind of like, I'm sure it was shady and weird from the get-go. This guy just hires this private group of people to start blowing up a mountain. Yeah.
In Russia, of all places. Yeah. Because so our people live right on the border of Finland and Russia, I guess. And so that's what it's taking place. The mountainside is taking place in Russia. And basically what that guy's Mr. Green, who we find out later is his name, he finds like sawdust that was 65 feet under the ground or something, which is pretty weird. Like, why would there be sawdust down there? And then that's when Homeboy explains that sawdust was used to keep ice from.
Well, was it, what I got was not 65 feet down, but that the sawdust was like a 65 foot layer of sawdust. Yeah.
Which is also weird.
Which is hella weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that the sawdust basically prevents ice from melting.
Which I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
I don't know if that's real.
Yeah. And I'm not going to fact check it.
Nope.
I'm going to believe
because for this movie, it works. And it did work for a really long fucking time, apparently.
Yep.
But yeah, then Mr. Green, right? Gets orders from
I don't ever know that.
Old man. I called him Old Man.
Yeah.
Crazy old man.
I called him and Scrooge.
That makes sense.
Because he looked like Ebenezer sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see which one he is in here, but I don't know. Was he Riley? Who's Riley? I don't know.
But he essentially is giving Mr. Green orders that they are now going to unearth this bitch. They're going to blow it up, take whatever it takes to get into it.
I think it is him. I guess his name is Riley. Per Christian Elfenson.
Oh, yeah. I think that's him.
Elfson.
And even whenever he was showing him the sawdust, I was like, is that like skin? I was like, it looked like dead skin almost.
it's the skin of all the children.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
That'd be fun though.
And so that's whenever the old guy, Riley, he goes outside and he's in front of the crew. He has that thing, whatever it was, a sample.
Yeah.
And sample number 98 or something like that. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Before I missed that, the rules.
Oh yeah,
Remember the
there's some
rules?
real weird instructions. It was basically like no smoking, no, I don't know. It was a
No
very
cursing.
quick, like you have to be good,
Mm-hmm.
not on the naughty list.
Around this site. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And basically Mr. Green looks at him and he's like, this is a funny joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is really stupid.
Mm-hmm. And then that's whenever the old guy goes off and he's like, let's act like it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas time. At least act like it or
Mm-hmm.
something. And yeah, then he gets basically Mr. Green digs something else up and he's like, I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, looks like you were right. And Riley's basically like, no shit, I was right.
Yeah.
And he takes it and then he does a very cryptic, like, was that Hamlet where they have the skull?
Yeah.
But with this ice block.
Macbeth. One of them. I'm not
I don't
sure.
know.
I don't know play Broadway like that or plays.
Any of my Shakespeare except for
But-
Romeo and Juliet
I get the gist.
and the one with the donkey. Midsummer
Shrek?
Night Dreams. Yes, Shrek. It's a Midsummer's Night Dream.
Is that? I
Yeah.
don't know. Oh, I heard just Midsummer.
Oh,
I didn't even think of. Okay, gotcha. That's why I was like, wait, the movie? Okay, got it. Okay.
yes. Midsummer is actually written by Shakespeare.
I don't know any plays like. I mean, I guess like Cats. I know Cats.
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 That's right. We love cats.
Cats and more cats.
And Les Mis.
The Hamilton,
Hamilton.
because he's a president, right?
That's
But I
right.
think of Hamilton the pig when I think of Hamilton.
Who's that
He's a pig. He's like a cartoon character.
from?
I don't even know. It's from my childhood. I don't know. I don't remember. Some character on some show. I think his name was Hamilton. Maybe because it's ham and a pig.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, but his name was Hamilton.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was a yellow pig. Made no sense. I don't know what I said.
Illegal.
Oh my god,
Just kidding.
the discrimination. And so where are we? Yeah, so that's whatever. At this point, the old guy, he starts towing off on like the old tale, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he says, he looks at the block of ice though, and he says, "Always believe,
Mm-hmm.
always,"
Yeah,
or something.
which is really weird. I thought he was honestly about to jump off.
I did too. My next note was, "Is he gonna jump off?"
I literally thought he was about to like blood sacrifice
I know.
himself.
I thought he was just gonna shloomp,
Literally.
step right off the back of it. But once I looked closer, there was quite a bit of ground still
Mhm.
behind him. It's just there was a somewhat steep drop off still behind him. I don't think he would have
And
died
it's like
from the fall.
mountainy and snowy, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
You know?
But
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely thought he was going to jump off. And because he says something about like, my dream since I was a little boy is about to come true.
Mhm.
And it's like, what? That's cryptic as fuck.
Oh, and at this point, we do also see that PT and Juuso are like two little kids that have snuck on this like site, and they shouldn't be there, and they're trying to like be in the shadows, but they're overhearing and eavesdropping on the what this old man is saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this old man is crazy.
Yeah, because then he basically is like, we're standing on a sacred grave,
Mhm.
the biggest burial ground, like puts the pyramids and stuff to shame. And which is, I mean, that's a big statement.
It is.
And he says basically that the Sami people
Mhm.
of Lapland built the mountains over some centuries ago.
I think it was like just centuries.
And
my bad, you're right.
centuries.
Mhm.
And basically, he didn't tell what they were burying.
No.
He just said, you have 24 days to open it.
unearth it. Yeah. Mhm.
Which is like 24 days.
But already from the get-go, I'm like, okay, 24 days. It's snowing, Christmas. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's Santa.
Yeah,
We're unearthing Santa.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mr. Green and them got that, but we did.
Mhm.
And he's like, basically, get digging, boys. We have a grave to rob.
Mhm.
And then, of course, we get our two boys, P and J,
Mhm.
Juuso,
Juuso.
Pietari.
Pietri.
Pietri. And they're going back down the hill, though, as we see that now. I didn't realize that was on the border yet because, of course, I couldn't
I
read
didn't
those
either.
signs.
Yeah.
But we see them climbing through this little hole that's been cut out
Mhm.
of a wire, like chain link fence.
Mhm.
And But apparently that is the border between Russia and Finland, which
I was like, oh, they're next to each other? I'm just kidding.
I know. And then I was also thinking in my head, I was like, I feel like Russia maybe wouldn't have that.
Like it's too easy.
Unguarded of borders. I don't know.
Well, it's maybe.
I mean, Russia is a big place.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe it's just a spot where there's just because it's kind of in the wilderness-ish. But there's also a town right there. But I'm sure there's lots of small towns. Like maybe it's not even a town. Maybe it's just like a little community. You know, because it did seem.
Or maybe because of what they were digging up, that guy paid off the officials and was like, "You don't come around here for a little bit."
Maybe.
Riley.
It kind of seems like they're in the boonies.
Yeah.
You know, out in the middle of nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah, exactly.
And so then it switches to them leaving the mountain, right? And then just on that
bobsled. We see like something blowing up too.
Oh yeah, because they're already starting to like undo their
business. They got right to it by the time that those
TNT,
boys
basically.
got down. Yeah. They're blowing that shit up.
And
that's when we get this little symbol, which I was like,
it's like a transition. I thought we were going to get credits, but
title card. Yeah. Which you don't, I liked it. You don't get the title card till the very end of the movie whenever they're putting the crates and it says rare exports.
Yeah.
And I was like, clever.
Good use of the title card. And so basically they end up, I guess even as they're getting on their sled and like trying to leave, PT is saying,
is Santa dead up there?
Yeah. And then Juuso's like laughing at him because he's like, you know,
Juuso never takes him seriously.
Yeah, and it's childish to believe in Santa, I guess, at this point.
Fucking he saved your life, Juuso. Come on. I called Juuso Mean Kid as well.
For most of the movie, because up until like halfway, I didn't know his name.
Yeah.
Even though he was calling him Juuso, I guess.
I did get his name before I got P's. Yeah. Because I don't know, because he said it like multiple times, basically saying Juuso. In that like scene, but then Juuso only says Petri once, and so I was like, what? What's his name?
Until the dad starts using it more.
Yeah, and then that was when I really got it.
And so after that, we have them having this little whatever, but then it transitions to like all these books. And PP is like
PP is doing a deep dive.
Is looking at very deep dive. And I'm also like, where did he get all these fucking books from?
I know,
and they're all
specifically on
about
Santa.
The Santa, like he went to the library, and I'm like, who would let this little boy like check out these books that has like pictures of like demons and like
Santa's
getting eaten,
boiling a kid, putting him in a cauldron.
It's pretty scary because the Santa looks scary as fuck.
They do. Like all the little illustrations were very unsettling, and I mean, leave it to them.
Yeah,
like Switzerland.
Oh yeah,
they're
it's
Santa.
Giving Krampus, no?
Yeah.
Which is what I forget what that's from. Is it
Krampus?
Norwegian or
Norwegian sounds right. I'm trying to think of what Switzerland's. Theirs is a lady.
Oh, okay.
Just says horned anthropomorphic figure in Central and Eastern Alpine folklore of Europe, who do the Advent seasons. So basically, this kind of was Krampus, because we also had the Advent calendar.
That's true, and I guess it's kind of like all other things where it's like cultures can have the same type of thing, but everybody's is a little spent, a little different, So it's just kind of essentially the same thing. Yeah, it's like Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus.
Everybody has their own version of a Jesus or a prophet or something, or and then a God, and
Yeah.
A Muhammad. But anyways, we are diving in even more because we are learning that, well, not learning, he is learning PT, and he's essentially getting knowledged up about Krampus and how to like defend himself because he's super scared and freaked out about what he thinks is evil bad Santa in the mountain that comes and spies on them, during the nighttime and is really wanting to kill them.
Yeah.
And he even does the thing of oh, that's not yet. My bad. He's just still looking and learning. Because at this point, do we get the day one?
Yes.
Yes.
It says 1 day until Christmas. Also, it's Frau Perchta.
What's that?
Perchta. That's the it says Frau Perchta isn't as well known as Krampus these days. But she's a Christmas time witch who has, I believe, little elves who help her do her bidding.
Wow.
And they're she comes and steals children in a sack though as well and eats them.
Oh, okay. Same kind of like this one was doing almost. Yeah. That's super cool. Well, I don't know if that's super cool. Like,
it's a good way to scare your children.
It's life.
Yep.
And so one day until Christmas, and we have these dude, and he's like sharpening these wooden spikes.
Yeah, I was like, some man
And he's
creating a trap.
Putting them in the ground, and it's very much like, and I was thinking like, oh, is this really what I think it is? And it is, because he hops right out, and it's one of those holes with just nothing but spikes at the bottom of it, which is so like deadly. Oh my God, that's so scary.
Yeah, it is scary.
Because then he's putting like the leaves and stuff on it, and then he's covering it with snow. And I'm thinking in my head, how in the hell he's gonna remember where that's at?
Yeah. I mean, thankfully enough greenery was out too still that I think he would know. But then, yes, of course, the pig head is being hung up above it with like a crane or something.
Because it's a trap for like a wolf. Because you do hear... Excuse me, I'm so sorry. You do hear the wolves like howling in the background. And obviously, I think that's supposed to tie together. Like, oh, okay, duh, A plus B. It's for the wolves.
And then even if you don't put it together there.
Mention it later.
Yeah, they mentioned how the wolves are pretty rampant, especially since they've been blowing shit up on the mountain.
It's got them all riled up.
Yeah. And so basically he hangs this piggy head up over it, puts a little apple in its mouth, and then he basically starts calling for P, saying like, wake up! And that's when I was like, okay, so that's Dad. And then throws a fucking snowball at his window.
Yeah, because he sees him sleeping.
So scary.
And it's just like, it's really loud.
It is.
Yeah, it's like the first jump scare.
What a startling way to...
There's not too many jump scares. There's not even really any jump scares, but this one was one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not paying attention. But just poor Pete. What a startling way to be awoken. Just
for anybody.
I would freak out.
Snowball.
Yeah. Snowball to the window that's right in front of your face.
Yeah. And especially because he was trying to stay up to like guard. And so he had like fallen asleep.
And he's already on high alert because he's, again, trying to guard. And so it's just scary. And then he basically is like getting up. We see, his advent calendar. And then he goes and he tapes the door shut, the big 24, meaning that it's the day before Christmas now. Yeah. So it's the last little, basically, day of the Advent. And but it's weird. Normally people open the door.
I think it's because he doesn't want Christmas to happen because he's like, then Santa's coming,
Yeah.
So he tapes that up, and then he's just like in his little undies, and he goes out because he wants to talk to his dad.
Oh, and he sees footprints by his window. He looks out the window one more time, and he sees footprints.
And so that's whenever
which is so creepy.
Yeah. On like it's getting signs,
he's on the second floor.
Yeah, the roof.
So someone's gotten up on one of the little landings and was walking in the snow up there.
And so that prompts him to go ask his dad, which he's in his little undies and he's walking in the cold. I'm like, boy, you're gonna catch a cold.
I know. I was like, put some pants on.
And he's out there, and so, but I'm like, that was totally me as a kid. And then he goes to, I guess, where his dad is working on the shed that's across the way, and he's telling his dad he wants to ask a question, and the dad's like, well, if you got something to ask me, you can come in here. Obviously P doesn't want to go in there, but he ends up going in there because the dad's like, well, the wolves are gonna eat you out there. And so he goes inside.
I thought this was gonna be the dad at this point. I thought someone was already taking over Dad.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, this is a little Santa like trying to lure him in, and then he's gonna eat him.
I thought Dad was a murderer. I was like, oh shit, Dad's got a body or something.
Yeah, because he was like, I'm working, and then he walks in through one of those
like a fridge,
meat fridge,
a walk-in refrigerator.
It has those little plastic strips.
I walk through one every day.
And so you're like, this looks suspicious.
And so it does, and then you just see like kind of him hacking away at something. You don't really see it all the way yet because P is in the way, but then you do see it's like a pig.
It's the rest of the pig
that was outside
from the head.
And so I was assuming he's a butcher because he has a lot of stuff there for like butchering, unless it's for killing. Because there's either one or the other.
Exactly. And I mean, they clearly, we know that we don't yet. We know that they catch reindeer though later on. So I think he does sell the meat.
That's true.
How cool if this would have turned into a fresh situation where they were selling off Santa meat.
Oh yeah.
People would buy that.
They could have tapped a whole market. They probably could have made more money.
Yeah.
And so, but they're elves. They're elves.
And it's aged mint. meat.
Aged meat? You think it makes it better?
I don't know.
Maybe. I feel like
Aged
it tastes
as in
jerky.
centuries.
Ooh, you're making me hungry now. Okay. And so I want aged meat. Give me
Gross.
my aged meat, please. And so that's whenever P is asking him, hey, were you outside on my roof? And then the dad's like, I don't have time for these stupid questions.
Yeah.
Like literally, he's just like, I don't have time for such stupid questions.
I was like, oh, okay.
And so that's whenever he's telling him, like, I need you to go get dressed. You should have been dressed by now. I thought you would have been dressed. And he's like, the little boy obviously doesn't want to go. And he's like, forgotten what it was, but it's a roundup or something like that, which means that they're going to go round up the reindeer. And so the little boy obviously goes to get dressed. And then that's whenever they end up going to the roundup thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go meet up with, we see Juuso. He's the first one who walks up.
Yeah.
And then we then also meet, I called him Juuso's dad the whole time.
I forget his name.
His name is Piepa.
Piapatipi. Piapadapi. I remember. Piapadapi. With the glasses.
Piapernen. Piiparingen. Piapernen.
Yeah.
That is Juuso's dad.
That's
I didn't
literally
realize.
Juuso's dad.
And that one's Imo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But
one's easy.
Mr. P is not Juuso's dad.
No.
This is really confusing because the guy who plays Mr. P,
Yeah.
his name is Rauno.
And
then
his dad is Rauno. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the actor's name is Rauno.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That guy
doesn't play him.
Yes.
Mhm.
The guy who has red hair and beard
Okay.
is Rauno in real life,
Mm.
but he is Mr. P. And then the dad is Rauno Contio.
And then Juuso's dad is Imo. Got it. Mhm.
Yes.
We're all here. We're all in the room. Literally.
I know.
Along
yeah,
with
we've-
TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods.
Yay.
So we have them essentially we see the big old pin, the roundup thing, and there's a whole bunch of other people there too, which I don't know what they're doing there.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like
to
the rest of
watch
the
a
families
campsite? I
and
don't
stuff,
know,
just keeping
yeah.
everyone together, I guess.
They're all literally there to just fucking take a reindeer as soon as it gets there. Like, we want to buy it now. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or at least help get them into the thing.
But yeah, and we do see that it is he tells that one dude, I don't know what his name is or anything, he tells what's his face to stay away from the fences, because we then find out that it is
Electrified.
an electrified fence.
Yeah, there's a big old sort of tower in the center that Mr. P flips a switch on and it comes to life. Everything's electrified.
Yeah.
Zip, zip.
That was P, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
Because
Okay.
Imo, as we find out, is already gone to investigate, and he's at the border.
Yeah.
Because they roll up on him. So
Because stuff was already going on.
basically, after they light it up, 2 reindeer come waltzing in. They're like, they're here. Yay. But it was only 2 of them.
And they expected a lot more, like 100 and something,
Yeah.
80 something. Yeah.
Like a herd. It was like 500 that were killed.
Was it?
438.
There you go. Okay. Yeah.
And basically, only 2 came up. And so they were like, what the fuck? Like, we need to go see what's going on. And so
they do.
they do.
They drive skis out to the border.
And then they see a field of them slaughtered.
Slaughtered.
Gutted.
It's so sad. Yeah.
Mutilated.
Because it's also like, you can tell it's like, things kill things for food. When things are just killed like that for sport, it's obviously something wrong.
Yeah. The whole body was not, it wasn't like a completely picked apart
They were
carcass.
just
They
murdered.
still were thinking it was wolves, though.
Yeah.
They
Well,
were
because
like-
they were so like torn apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which also, like, why are the elves have beef with the reindeer?
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
Maybe the reindeer were kept for their food.
Maybe they eat them.
Yeah.
That's true. They could have. Yeah. And they were so skinny they didn't eat very much. They only had like 2 nibbles, and they were like, "We're done."
This is enough reindeer. Too many calories.
Yep. And so that's whenever they are all talking. They're trying to figure out like what the fuck is going on here. Imo is like showing them how there's a hole in the fence, right?
Yeah, and they were like,
it was cut with pliers. And then we have B and Juuso talking, and they're like, man, they're gonna find out that it was us, that we did that. It's our fault that the reindeer are dead. And then Juuso like threatened. Well, I don't want to say threaten. He threatens him, right?
Yeah, he grabs
He's
his
like,
face.
I'll beat you up
Yeah.
if you like tattletale on us, essentially.
Basically, yeah. Don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, everyone's picking on P. Dad threw him to the ground earlier with the fence. Now Juuso's being mean to him. Like, come on. And then we get this shot of Dad though looking out over, and he goes, 438. 438 of them are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how the fuck did this motherfucker count that fast?
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Or maybe they also have, I'm assuming since it's maybe their business too, they have tags, or they know how many they have out there throughout the year. I don't know. But they are just talking amongst themselves. We do have Juuso like then driving up on them, and that's whenever he's like, how much money is it worth, right? Like all these dead carcasses, and he's like, what's like an $85,000 loss, right?
82, yeah.
Yeah.
82,000, but then it's also 22% something.
Something on top of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the taxes or something, or like I don't know, but basically a whole shit ton of money that they're losing because of this. And so that's whenever they're all kind of pissed off. And then also we do see that P sees the footprints in the snow.
Yeah, he finds a human footprint underneath one of the
but they're
carcasses.
but they have like claws almost. Like they're human, but they have like
just
like
long toenails.
Yeah.
Gross.
Almost like a bear,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then this whole time has been talking to his doll, Vupa.
I never got the doll's name, but yes, he does.
I think it's Vupa. And he tells
Fupa?
the doll, Fupa. Oh, that's bad. Anyways, he tells the doll, man, he sure was hungry. The whole time, like,
he's so chill.
He knows exactly what's going on. And I mean, he's tried to, he hasn't exactly tried to tell anyone yet.
But he does.
He's about to try and tell Juuso.
And then we do have the dads getting riled up, and they end up like storming up the mountain.
Yeah, I'd be pretty riled up if I lost $82,000 too.
This is not good. They're gonna pay it back because they were like, it's a pretty. Both the other guys are just like, we can't just cross the border like that. That's a pretty big deal. And he's just like, well, also
fucking
bankruptcy. He's like, bankruptcy is a big deal, so we need to go. So they go up there. They end up going up the mountain, and they're like guns blazing, like walking up on the sand. I'm like, whoa, maybe not have the guns out, but they go up to like
especially
the portable.
Because Imo tried to tell him like they have have orders to shoot anyone they see who's unidentified, like on site.
Yeah.
So yeah, waltzing up with guns probably not the best idea.
Or I don't know, but yeah, they end up going up there, and that's whenever we do see the portable, but it's like doors open, like
of course, and the radio's still going, so it's clearly like these people left
in a hurry.
I think
they even say that, right?
Yeah, they do. Because one of I think Imo picks up the coffee cup or something, and it's got coffee in it still and stuff. So this place was just abandoned.
Yeah,
it reminds me of Tarzan's parents' house.
Yeah, I see that.
Whenever they lived in the woods or whatever.
And then the cougar comes out.
Yeah.
Or panther. I don't remember what it is.
Whatever
cheetah?
it is.
It's a cheetah. It's a cheetah in Tarzan.
Yeah. I don't know.
And so that's whenever they are in there. They're doing some searching around. P is looking in there. And that's whenever we have Mr. P outside, and he turns on the lights next to Juuso, and he sees something, so he calls everybody out there, but P stays inside, and he's looking at like the map and like all the stuff that they have on the building.
Basically sees like a sonogram of Santa in the belly.
Does in the mountain. And that's whenever we go outside, and there's a huge fucking hole in this mountain. It's deep too, because he lights a flare and it just goes so far down, like you don't see it.
Yeah.
Like land.
I don't understand how in the hell they did that
deep without like
in
the
24 days.
And then like
though.
also without the mountain, like,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I guess I don't
it's a big ass
understand how
hole.
Mountains work, but
I don't either.
Yeah, it was for what looked like a remarkably tiny crew. It was a shocking that this was done in 24 days.
Yeah.
Unless they worked like tirelessly day in, day out.
But even then, like how do you blow all that up? Where do you put everything? And then they're like,
and they built all those little Yeah.
To go down
all the
there
way
and
down.
stuff. Yeah, that seems like a lot of work for just him in 24 days.
It
You're
does.
right. I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
It's okay. I'll let him have it.
It's a movie.
Yep.
That's Hollywood, baby. That's
And-
Hollywood.
That's right.
And so that's whenever we have it cutting back to they're back home, right? They go back home because they're like, well, what the fuck can we do now? Nobody's even here.
Yeah.
And then we have P stapling the
Advent calendar shut.
calendar,
He's
number
basically like,
24.
Christmas can't come.
Yeah.
And it's not like one staple, it's like 8.
Mhm.
He's put in, he's tink, tink, tink. And then Juuso's just kind of like,
observing.
what?
He's like, that's weird.
Because then, of course, P's done up in all sorts of gear. He's got like cardboard taped to his butt, and he's also got a snowsuit on and like hockey gear. Basically, every sort of. He looked almost like
He's
a
ready
goalie,
for battle.
a hockey goalie.
Yeah, he
too,
does,
with like
because he has that mask on, the helmet.
Yeah, and his.
I think did he even have like a fucking mouth guard?
He might have. I don't know. He did. He definitely
a part
had
of the
some
thing.
other headpieces and like almost looked like boxing headgear too. I feel like maybe he didn't have anything on his shins, but he for sure had cardboard duct taped to his butt. He's like, put one of these on your butt, and I wasn't quite sure. Was that like to sled quickly down a hill, or
Just protecting his bomb? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But he just wanted to make sure that he was super safe in case he had to fight Santa for his life, essentially, because he very has much taken upon himself to like he's got to protect people. He's got to protect his dad. He has to protect himself.
Yeah.
And so that's whenever we have him telling Juuso all about, you know, what he's learned from these books and about Bad Santa and how he's here to, you know, pass judgment on all the children.
I love how he says the Coca-Cola Santa was a hoax.
Yeah.
This is the real Santa.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
The Coca-Cola.
Hey there, homeowners. Is it time to give your yard a complete makeover this summer? Villani Landshapers, a local family-owned business, has been transforming landscapes for more than 20 years. Villani Landshapers specializes in landscape design build, retaining walls, outdoor living spaces, and so much more. Request your free consultation today and check out their gallery of residential work at villani-landshapers.com.
From the host of the popular podcast, The Only One in the Room, Stash by Laura Cathcart-Robbins is a propulsive and vivid memoir about the journey to sobriety and self-love amidst addiction, privilege, racism, and self-sabotage. Best-selling author Holly Whitaker calls it an irresistibly delicious story, and MacArthur Foundation fellow and best-selling author Kiese Lehman says Stash is emotionally riveting. Buy Stash by Laura Cathcart-Robbins now, wherever books are sold.
As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
So yeah, we have him trying to tell Juuso about all this Bad Santa business, and Juuso almost seems like he's like, you know, being serious and listening and taking it in, but then he just starts laughing and he starts, you know, calling P childish and all this stuff for like, you know, believing all that crap. And
so mean. But I did like how
he's a bully.
P goes, when's the last time you were slapped?
Yeah.
Sunday. I was like,
he also stands his ground.
He does.
And then P's also like, you know, do you think that we should basically not repent, but like what's that word when you like admit your guilt, but like admit some, you know, to what they did. And
yeah, should we own up to it?
Juuso is just like, nah, bitch, if you say something, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah. And isn't this where he explains how Santa even got there in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So he shows him the ultrasound thing, which I guess he took from I don't know. It just it gave very ultrasound, that little block in there.
It's like seismograph like type of stuff, like mountain geology. I don't know.
And
but yeah,
he basically explains that the Sami people lured Santa in, basically, and then the weight of the ice or something underneath the lake, I guess is what it was. It used to be there. It was frozen, but his body weight broke the ice, and then so they basically froze him there.
And in the summer,
they dug him up and then buried the ice block, I guess, underneath all that sawdust, and then piles of rocks to basically make this mountain on top of him. And again, Juuso's still
he doesn't. He's just like, yeah, and then he tries to scare Pete and being like, don't tattletale on us.
Yeah.
Essentially, and so then we have
poo head.
I guess Juuso leaves, or I don't know. But
yeah, I think Juuso does leave.
Right, because we have the dad making gingerbread cookies for P.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, the dad's kind of nice.
They're talking. They're eating the gingerbread cookies. They're bonding almost a little bit. P is like, these are really good. And he's like, they're almost as good as Mom used to make.
Yeah,
and that's whenever we do see kind of like a little lightheartedness from the dad, because he's been so stern this whole time. But other than that, that's whenever I'm like, oh, wow, he really can't handle his emotion, because you can see him like holding back tears.
Yeah, because then P asks, Dad, what if I disappeared?
Yeah, what if I vanished or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah. And then his dad says, you should disappear.
Oh, yeah.
To your bed. With that long of a pause in between it, too. At first I was like, Wicca, what? You did not just say that to your kid. And then with the to your bed, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty clever.
He's trying to really cover up a lot of stuff with he's trying to be humor. I guess that's his humor,
Yeah.
Making a slight joke out of it.
He is obviously trying to get P away so that way he can cry. I think he doesn't want P to see him cry.
Show emotion, yeah.
Is what it is.
He feels like he needs to be strong.
Yeah.
Manly, macho, toxic masculinity. Yeah. What do all these things have in common?
Man.
That's it.
That's right.
And so we have P then taking his fucking rifle that's literally longer than him, strapping it to his back, and then going up the stairs.
And asks him on the way, he says, Dad, do you think I've been good? And he says, this is where the dad says, all good boys would be in bed by now. Which is like,
that's not reassuring at all.
Yeah. P's being hunted by Santa, didn't you know?
And so that's whenever we have them posted up. P is posted up on defense mode, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he's keeping watch.
He's in his watch post.
And he has these keys on his hand so that if he drops them, they'll make a noise in a pot. So that way it's loud enough to wake him up. But I think at this point, it gets caught on his thread, right? On his sweater.
Something like that. Or I think he just leans forward enough because his head starts leaning forward towards the thing.
Because it hits the window.
Yeah. And I think his hands were still just...
But those keys fall with the thread.
Oh, okay. I thought his hand was still really close to them. And so that way it didn't... Because it made a small sound, but just not loud enough.
To wake him up. Yeah.
And then, his head... I'm surprised. Well, I guess smart. He has all that padding on, though, that his head didn't wake him up when it hit the window.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a lot of padding on.
And then we have... It cuts to Mr. Green and the rest of the team, right?
Yeah.
Back at the site. And that's whenever we have him...
Which I'm guessing this was a few days prior.
Right? I don't know.
Maybe. Or I guess
they came
it was
back?
the same night.
Well, but he was already out? I don't know. I'm not sure. But we do have them there. And that's whenever they're talking about something. And he's like, fuck your safety instructions. And so he obviously cursed. So at this point, they all get really fast. Just the helpers, all you see are the little the yellow
hats, the
helmets,
hard
hats. There you go.
Yeah.
And we have Mr. Green getting snatched up.
Yeah, and basically we overhear Mr. Green telling Riley.
Oh, that's right.
That because Riley's saying has the cargo been acquired? And he says, what do you mean? We're canceling this. Something else is going on here. Yeah. And he was like, has the package or has the cargo been acquired? Let me repeat. And he's like, the thing had a pulse.
Yeah.
What do you want us to do? The fucking thing had a pulse. And that was, that's when a minion or what we believe is Santa.
Yeah.
I thought it was Santa.
I thought it was Santa too. But it's, they're all gone. They're yeeted. They're unalived. And then we have the countdown and it's 1 to 0. It is now Christmas.
It is Christmas Day.
And so on Christmas Day, we do have Dad in the like living room area, and he's in front of the chimney, and I guess he's about to light it. He puts a log in there, and then like it just like we just have this like whoosh, all the smoke, the snap, like it
happened
like,
so quickly. I didn't know what happened.
I didn't either
until he gets P down there,
and then he's like, "What the fuck?" And he looks in the fucking chimney, and P had put a bear trap in there, literally, and he was like, "What were you trying to do? Kill me?" Yeah. But obviously,
he's like, not you, but Santa.
Trying to, take preventative measures.
He's really fucking smart kid. He's really smart.
He's Home Alone, but like next level.
Yeah.
And then that's whenever we have like the dad trying to talk to him, and he like is about to go outside, and the dad's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I need to go.
I have to piss." Also, Dad's looking hella rough. He didn't look like he slept a wink that night before.
And then we do have P going outside trying to pee in the snow, but then he notices something.
Yes. And he calls Dad over. And I at this point, I was like, oh, God. I was like, it's either Santa or a wolf is right there or something. But then he yells like for Dad. And Dad comes running like pistol or what is that called? Shotgun. Like loaded, ready to go. And he says the bait's gone.
Pistol whipping everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said the bait is gone. Yeah.
The little piggy head from the wolf trap, mind you, that we talked about earlier.
And Dad is like, gonna go check what it is. And then we have P like walking behind him. And the whole time the dad is trying to tell P like, hey, stay back, stop moving, stay back. And every time he turns around and keeps walking forward, P was just following behind him.
He waits like
I would have
maybe
been so
half
annoyed.
a step, and then P's like right behind him. I was like, motherfucker, you are not listening at all. It was funny.
And so he was trying to like keep him out of harm's way, essentially, because we don't know what's about to be in this hole. And so that's
if
whenever
the thing's dead.
Yeah.
And then he could also, I mean, whenever he got really close to it later and stuff and went to go jump in, I was like, oh my God, what if
when
he
jumped
slipped?
in, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Oh, I thought, I mean, those spikes were placed pretty close. I mean, I guess he is a child.
He's little, he can fit through it, but still.
The
whenever
risk
he
of
jumped
jumping
in there,
into
I was
it.
like,
yeah. Scary.
Stupid. But I don't know. I've done a lot of stupid things.
Yeah.
And so that's whenever the dad is leaning in forward. He's kind of poking around, and then
we see a hand.
And the dad is obviously stunned.
He's like,
he is
nope.
gagged, gooped, and all the things.
He's like, we're getting, nope,
Yeah.
come on. You haven't even eaten breakfast yet.
Yeah.
Boy, you can't be out here.
P is very adamant. He's like, I want to see. And so he takes him away from there because he's like, no,
he's
you
like,
need
it's
to go
just a
eat.
big bird. And he was like, well, why can't I see? And he was like, there's nothing in there. And he was like, then why can't I see? And he's like, because you haven't eaten breakfast. So they go back inside and they start eating the gingerbreads again.
Yep. And he's like, is this really all we're having? He's like, it's good enough.
Yeah. And he was like, okay, well, if I eat all of this, he's like bartering. If I eat all of this, can I go outside and look in the pit? And his dad was like, well, then you better have some more. And like loads him up with like 6 more gingerbread cookies.
A lot. Yeah.
And these are full-size gingerbread people.
I want one, honestly.
Yeah, I could go for one. That sounds really good.
And so that's whenever someone shows up, and it's our friend, right? The dude.
Mr. P.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. P. And he's in that Santa getup.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny.
So basically,
he has a gig where he's become Santa.
Yeah, which Juuso had mentioned earlier in the film. He had said, he was like, well, explain who that Santa was that we saw that one time. And Juuso was like, that was clearly Mr. Blah, blah, blah. And so we kind of know that Mr. P has a gig as Santa. But basically, the dad hears the car rolling up, so he goes outside, and then of course P is nosy as fuck. He gotta know what's going on, so he runs up to his little watch out, and we see Santa and Dad, Mr. P, and Dad dragging what could have been a wrapped Christmas tree.
But obviously it's a body.
It was a body.
Yeah. Some things you just know. That's a body.
Yeah.
That's a body.
Looked very body-esque.
Body, yada, yada. Even the way people carry a body, I've noticed in movies too, it's very like there's something awkward about carrying a body. It's the
weight
body
distribution,
language. Yeah.
all wrong.
It's, very much so, because it's just dead weight. Literally dead weight. And so that's whenever we do have what's PT like running out. and he obviously is going to go spy on them, but they go take this body to the workshop and they put him on like basically the slab, and they're just kind of looking at him like, what the fuck do we do with this?
Yeah.
Like, what's up? And they think he's dead at this point. And so they're checking his body, and his dad finds that passport.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Mr. Green, so the head of the operation, not Riley, who was the one who was commanding all of it, but Mr. Green was the one who was like in charge of all the workmen's.
And he should have been born in 1952, but this guy like looks hella old.
Yeah, and they said
mm-hmm.
not like he's not even 60 or something yet. And so, but clearly this man
looked like 98.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Homeboy did not do his skincare and
stood in the sun 5 days a
all
week.
The time.
Literally.
And also the cold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he was leathered, handbagged, but also completely blistered.
Yeah.
And chapped skin, and he never put no moisturizer on.
Nope.
Yep.
And so that's whenever Mr. P is just like, well, what are you going to tell people? And then the dad is just like, what do you mean, what am I going to tell people?
I'm going to tell them nothing.
Nothing, because it's only between me and you. And it was giving very the opposite of what Juuso was doing to P.
Yeah.
Of like not telling about the reindeer situation and like what they thought they were responsible for, even though we find out they had, I mean, it was just a
this
fucking
was
else.
Gonna happen.
Yeah. But yeah. And so
that
essentially
fence being completely whole would not have stopped this.
No, literally the only reason they got through was that hole.
Yeah.
No,
they fit Krampus,
mm-hmm.
the big Santa, through there. Actually,
could you imagine? Oh my God, yeah, because I forgot about him being in the hangar. And so
I wonder if that's where the men were.
Maybe
if
they
had
brought it
gone
there
to take Santa over there,
and that's why they were going back and forth. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not sure. But because that would make sense. It's kind of like an airport-ish type of thing situation. Yeah. And so we do have where would we at? I'm sorry.
Basically, P went to go snoop.
Oh, that's right.
And so they're looking at him, and so P's getting closer to the window, and Dad is going to saw off the arm. They're basically going to hack this body apart and pretend it never happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's going to saw off the arm, but then all of a sudden the arm snaps back.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh,
that's
hell
scary.
no.
Yeah.
No.
He alive.
Fuck that. And
they're both like, what the fuck? He's like breathing, and he's like this tough old geezer.
Yeah. Because he held the knife up to his nose.
His breath. Yeah.
And
you can obviously clearly see he's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you see the breath on the knife, you can see his nostrils moving more too. And
that's because.
But so, okay. I've said P was getting closer. P went to go snoop in the pit.
Oh, that's right.
P went to go snoop in the pit. And this is when he fucking jumps down there.
That's right.
And I was like, what? And that was when P found
the little bag, Santa bag with the wooden kid in it.
With that creepy ass doll, a little straw kid. I didn't like that. But then, yes, that's when. So then it flashes to them trying to cut off Santa's arm. And
he's up there in the window. And then we see that Santa is smelling something. Yeah. He's reacting to something.
And that's why we're seeing his nostrils move.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
they're like, what is he smelling?
The boy.
Yeah. And they both look in the corner in the window, and P sees them. They see P, and P takes off running. And the dad's like,
Santa's
fuck.
head like turned.
Yeah.
His whole head turned too.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, yeah. So then Dad runs after, which I was like, you're going to leave poor Mr. P here alone with this? Like, clearly, and I don't understand how this body is even remotely alive.
Yeah.
And you're going to leave him with it?
Mm-hmm.
What if it was like a zombie Santa? That would also be cool.
Well, obviously he didn't care. Whenever they realized that he is fucking smelling pee, they're just like, here's pee.
I know, that's true. They did. They're like, let's see if we can get a rise out of him. Yeah. But yeah, basically though, Dad goes to chase P, and we see at this point I was like, Mr. P's gonna get killed, and Santa's gonna steal his Santa suit and like be complete. The transformation will be complete.
That's what I was thinking too, all the way. And so that's whenever we have the dad running off trying to go find P, but then P runs off and he ends up literally with the fucking police.
Yeah, and he just hops right in the car.
Yeah, and then like, even the dad's like, oh, what the fuck? Oh shit, oh shit. Oh my god, it's gonna be bad. So they end up going to Imo's and Juuso's house.
Yes.
Because there was a situation happening over there that the police had already been called to. And so that's whenever the dad is like getting out of the car and he's just like looking at him. He's like, are you okay? Because he obviously has like the butcher's thing on and like all the blood on him.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, everything's fine. No, everything's normal. We're
Nothing
good.
out of
Right?
the ordinary.
Right, P?
Yeah.
Everything's fine. And then he's
Very
like,
sus.
but then Imo comes up. Well, and then I think even P there and is talking about, no, nothing's fine. There's a bad Santa, killer Santa or something. I don't know if he said something.
I don't think he says that yet. He does hide behind the sheriff, and
Gotcha. He makes it seem like, no, it's not okay.
The sheriff says, well, you're the only one because everyone else, I've been all over this like fucking town all morning.
Weird ass shit.
Everyone's radiator has been stolen. And then this is when Imo comes out and he says, yeah, and I've, like I always have my whole like harvest of potatoes and everything. And the cop was like, you call me out here for this? And then he was like, but it's weird. He only stole the sacks.
Yeah.
All like, and it was
all
like,
the potatoes are, there's so many potatoes.
There were, it was like 6 tons of potatoes or something. It was a fuck ton of potatoes. And then he also said, and my wife's hairdryer has been stolen. And they were like, so why would somebody want that piece of junk? And they were like, that's top quality in Russia.
Yeah.
Like top tier technology or something.
That's true. They have a lot of shade to Russia through this movie.
Yeah.
But we do have them chatting even more, right? And that's whenever P is like, well, I'm gonna go look for Juuso.
Yeah.
And he tries to go find Juuso, but when
because the dad's like, I don't know where he is. He's probably still asleep.
And so he goes up there to look for him, and that's whenever we do see that it's he like pulls the covers, and in his bed there's a wooden doll there.
Yep.
So we're obviously like,
dolls.
he got taken away.
Yeah.
And that's whenever
and we can thankfully that pit saved P. Otherwise he would have been trapped too.
Yeah.
Because that Santa was on his way to get him and was going to replace him
and he fell
with
into
that
the
doll.
trap.
Yeah.
And so that's whenever we do have the dad talking to Imo. Well, and then the cop leaves. He's like, whatever. I got bigger stuff to do. And then he's talking to Imo and he's like, hey, do you speak English? Because we need a translator.
Yeah.
So now Imo's about to get wrapped up in this. So they end up...
I'm sorry. How did none of those adults take him seriously whenever he came back saying Juuso is gone? This weird ass doll was in his bed.
Well, even the cop was just like, he's probably out chasing women.
And it's like, no. I mean, yes, like Juuso was kind of an ass, but I mean, a bit more attention. That's fucking weird. If my child was missing and a straw doll was in their place, a human-sized straw doll, I'd fucking shit a brick.
I think there's a layer of like common sense to us though.
Yeah.
And like a layer of awareness. Whereas I feel like even in other situations, I think people think like, well, I think it's as simple as like my brother and sister have 4 kids now. They used to be all about like, oh my God, the kid. And now like a kid's missing. They're like, I don't know, he'll turn up.
Yeah.
And I'm like over here like freaking out and they're like, they're fine. He'll turn up. They do it all the time, So I think that's kind of what the situation is happening here,
they should have reacted more.
And so that's whenever we do have them going on their way back to, and I think, before this, we did have it did cut to Mr. P with the Santa and he's in there and I'm like, oh my God. That's because he starts walking up to him, no?
Yeah. And he's offering them the gingerbread.
Yeah, the cookie, and he can tell that he's smelling it.
Yeah, because he starts like kind of going towards it and then like doing what Kira does.
Yeah.
Biting.
Exactly. And that's whenever we have Imo and them at the simultaneously on the way there.
Well, because not only does he bite at the gingerbread.
Oh, he
bites off his ear
at the dude. We see him like, but then it cuts away.
Yeah, but you can because
assume. Yeah.
The Santa was whispering, and I was like, boy, do not put your head next to that. Like he's gonna bite your ear.
Yeah. And
then sure enough, we see right as we see the Santa lunge, and it cuts back to them.
And then we do have them like, I was like, hey, what do you need me to translate? Like, what? I got better stuff to do. I'm and then he's just telling him, well, we have visitors. They could be American or something like that. And so they end up going. They see that Mr. P is outside. And
damn near looking like Van Gogh.
Yeah, and then they're like, what happened? And he's like, this dude is not human. He bit me. Like, there's something off with him. Like, y'all just go check for yourself. So they do end up going and they're looking for him as the dad tries to keep P out. He's like, no, you don't need to come in here. And they're in there. And that's whenever they realize that fucking dude is just like
He's crouched. I didn't
like
like the way he
Smeagol.
was
It's very
sitting.
Smeagol.
Yeah, it was very creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Was not a fan.
Yeah.
And also, where did the fucking table go? I was confused.
Pushed
I
out
guess
of the way, I guess.
in
It's got wheels.
With ever him biting him.
Yeah.
But
And so Santa's just there, fetal position, but like standing up, like on his feet. Like it's weird.
yeah,
And so they're just,
kind of like he's taking a poop.
yeah. And they're basically just like talking to him, but he's not responding. And
And that's when Imo says he's harmless.
Yeah.
And I was like, he is not harmless.
And they're interrogating him so closely. They're like being like putting a gun in his face, kind of manhandling him a little bit.
I know, I low-key felt bad for him in that moment. I was like, Jesus.
Same. Yeah.
And while all that's happening, we get a shot to P basically calling a list of his friends, saying like, is this person here? Is this person here? And everyone's
looking
being
for
like,
Juuso. Yeah.
No. And then, by that time he had called and tried another friend.
All the kids are missing.
There was like 6 kids or something on his list of people to call, and 3 of the 6 were already missing.
Yeah.
And then that's whenever it flashes back to Santa, though.
Mm-hmm.
And Juuso's dad, Imo, was about to fucking kill him. I was like, as he should, though.
Yeah.
This man clearly cray-cray. Something's not right.
And so he they're in there with the bad elf. I keep calling him Bad Santa. With the Bad Santa, and then we do see that PT comes back, right? Because at this point he's like, he's like wants to help, right?
Yeah.
And the dad's just telling him like, like trying to send him off.
Or he's basically come to tell his dad, all the kids are gone.
That's right.
Everyone's missing. No, like all of them are gone.
Yeah.
And the dad's like, what?
He
What
won't
are you
pay
even
attention.
saying?
Yeah.
But like, because he's hearing something happening. There's some sort of scuffle happening inside.
And so they end up going inside, and the elf, like, what was he doing? He was standing up now, right? Yeah, he's being really creepy looking. It's really fucking scary.
And P had asked his dad to give him some lashes.
That's right. Yeah.
Basically, because he was
Of
like,
what he had done.
I've been bad. We cut that hole open, and then
He
like,
admits to it.
I just please give me spank me a few times so I can be not on the naughty list, basically.
And so they are in there, and P goes in there as well, and that's whenever we see that the elf is having a reaction to P, and then they're like, what is he looking at? And they're like, oh my god, it's Petri. And so they end up just like getting P, and like the dad is using him as like basically bait to like lure
he was like,
the
do you know this man? Because he clearly seems to know you. And then just
he's like,
basically,
no, I don't know him.
Yeah.
Poor P. And so at that point, I believe
P, he matter of factly is like, that's Santa Claus.
Yeah, he's like,
he's a bad Santa, and he came from that mountain up there
to kill us all.
Yep.
To kill
all the
me,
children
at
are
least.
missing,
Yeah.
and he's coming for me too. And he, again, just so matter of fact, he's just delivering. He's like, this is clearly the situation, you guys.
Yeah. And right, and
get with the program.
They end up like Imo's like screaming down boy as he's like almost about to attack, and then they end up like just tying him up.
Yeah, they chained him up and like
put him in the
duct
Santa
taped him
outfit and strung him up.
Yeah, and then they're just sitting there all eating gingerbread watching him.
Yeah, and he looks really evil.
He does, because his eyes are just fixated on P. And then all of a sudden, I guess this could qualify as a little jump scare. It's definitely a jump scare for the men there, because the walkie goes off, and then they're like, fuck.
Yeah. And
I'm about like throws a fucking plate of gingerbreads or whatever.
For real. And it's the old man, and he's once again being like, is the cargo secure? Like, is it ready for takeoff? We're ready. We're gonna.
Is Santa ready to fly?
And they're like, this is Rauno from Finland. We have Santa. Yeah. And they end up, he gives it to what's his face and Imo, and they're just basically saying like, you pay us, like we want to meet up and we'll give you Santa, essentially.
Yeah, you can pay us for this.
Exactly.
And I was like, hell yeah, get your money. And then we flash to them driving said cargo
to the like airportish hangar area thing,
because
at first I thought they were like just storage units.
I thought it was a storage unit,
and I was like, oh wait, that's not. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, storage units, until I saw the 24 one, and I was like, oh, that's a hangar. Duh. Duh.
And so, yes.
So creepy when they did dress him up as Santa.
Yeah, and he's just looking in that window, looking at P. It's so scary because they have him in a cage.
Yeah, and he looked like he was licking his lips.
Yeah.
It was so creepy.
And so they end up arriving. A helicopter also arrives. The old man comes out of it. Oh, not before they also like notice that Imo's wife's hairdryer is just there. And they're just like, what the fuck is this doing here? And so they're like, put it away. And so the old man comes up and he's like, you know, who are y'all? He's basically really confused as to why like his tactical team is not there. And so
where are my men?
And they're trying to, because there's a language barrier. He's just like, we are men.
Imo, yes. We are men.
And he's just like, we have your Santa. And he's like, they're trying to be like, how much do we want for it? And he's like, $85,000.
And I was like,
Mr. P is like, 1 million or something. Yeah.
Yeah. He said 1 million. I was like, at least get 100,000.
Yeah. Have some over. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, come on.
And so that's whenever he's just like, I want to see the cargo, you know?
Because at least we don't know if Juuso's dead or alive yet.
Yeah.
And
but
so,
they're not thinking about that.
Well, I know, but they should be. And I mean, if you're gonna have to pay for, you can't put a price on a life, obviously, but at least get some compensation. Yeah. And this is where I was like, bitch is looking like Ebenezer Scrooge out here, Mr. Riley.
I think it might also tie into with like the whole thing of like, you know, adults don't believe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like kids believe, obviously. Well, even Juuso didn't fucking believe, but like kids believe and stuff like
that.
Whereas,
I mean,
like,
now
the parents
are
more like, we're realistic. We don't believe in fairy tales, you know?
But they seemed pretty on board while taking him over, at least enough that I would be like, oh wait, yeah, my son's missing.
But I don't even know that they even necessarily thought like this is Santa. I think they just thought, here's our chance to make some money.
Yeah,
their mind was all on the money.
Yeah.
And so they tell him that, but the old man is just like, well, I want to see him. And so they end up like, okay, so they get the thing and they roll it over somehow, and then the old man starts meeting weird Santa, which is pretty creepy.
And at this point, P's already gotten out of the car.
Okay, gotcha.
P's gotten out of the car. He's going to look for
Juuso, right?
Yeah, and he finds basically the big 24
hanger, which mirrors like the big 24 on the advent calendar.
Yeah, looked exactly like that. And then I was like, oh, is that where all the kids are? And then he puts Vupa down on the ground, and I was like, take Vupa with you.
I think he wanted to protect Vupa. He's like, didn't want Vupa to see the horrors.
I think Vupa was protecting the place too. But
True
also
that. Lookout. He was the lookout.
Yeah. But scary. Poor Vupa. But then that's when basically Riley is saying, because I think we see whenever he walks in there, we maybe see the Krampus, the figure, or not. Or my next note says, "Oh God, what?"
Yeah.
And so,
oh God, what? That could mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so, he goes into the hangar.
It might have just been.
Oh no! Oh God! What is that? Remember in the cage, like the elf got like activated. His eyes turned yellow, and then was just like, and then that's whenever the old man was like, "Everybody, be quiet! You make a noise, or you can't do that." Because I don't think at that point, I don't think we had seen.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen
the big ice thing yet. No.
I think my oh God, what was this isn't Santa? Is when Riley said this isn't Santa.
Yeah.
He said that this is one of Santa's helpers, basically. And this, we need to start acting this sort of way because Santa's basically going to find out who's naughty or nice.
Yep. And they're all like, what? Because obviously they're just like, and then I was like, we have to be quiet.
Yeah. We have to be quiet. He's an elf.
Yeah. Because they're like, what? And so that's whenever all these fucking Santas just start approaching.
There's so many of them. What you would think of a normal kind of esque Santa looking appearance, although but most scary. Of them are rather scrawny. However, we do get a few thicker Santas too.
And then that's whenever they're kind of closing in on them. And that's whenever I think we do end up seeing the big old
and Scrooge is dead. Scrooge gets an axe to the head.
Oh yeah, he does.
Chink. Yeah. It was a little comical. And then that's when they all walk into there because they're like, oh fuck, where's P?
Yeah.
And they go in there and we don't see yet, but we just hear something beating like a heart. Doom doom.
And then all the
doom doom.
Grown men turn around and we see that It's fucking the real Santa Claus, I guess, is in there.
Massive.
It's huge.
Like couple stories tall.
Yeah.
Santa frozen in a block of ice, but all you can see is just these two
like ram horns.
Giant, like curled horns coming out of the ice. And basically that's why all the radiators and stuff had been stolen because they're trying to defrost him.
Yep.
Because he was
trying to get him free.
Soup's frozen.
Yeah, for all those years. Damn, that's crazy. No more sawdust.
We see Juuso speaks up and we realize that all the kids are in there in those little potato sacks, just sitting in front of those heaters too and everything. I'm like, oh my God, they must be dying. Like just being almost cooked.
Like
the
literally
ovens
like
were open.
Baking real gingerbread kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so that's whenever we have...
I almost wish they all would have died.
Well, at least Juuso. And then that's whenever we have them making a plan because P is just kind of thinking up something and then he's trying to get everyone's attention as they're all like trying to like, because obviously these elves are closing in and then like they're trying to throw the like ovens and stuff out of the way away from the ice and then P just like get that
and they're
shotgun.
trying to barricade the door.
That's true. Yeah.
To keep them from getting it. And sorry, Mr. Rauno, P's dad, he like straight up picks up an oven and like throws it.
Yeah, he does. While it's
like,
hot.
Jesus Christ, this man is fucking jacked.
That's them gingerbread cookies there.
I guess.
And that gingerbread diet. So we have then P getting that shotgun and blowing like a load off. So that way
he blows his load. As a kid, I'm sorry.
So he can get their attention. Poor choice of words. And then that's whenever we have him talking to them being like, look, the elves are going to only come, or they're coming in here because the children are here. If we remove the children, then, this and that and that. And we don't.
It's either me or Santa.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he says, and I suggest Santa.
Yeah. And then we also see all the TNT that's there.
Yeah. Conveniently. He just pulls down this, like it was under, like
a big old heavy tarp thing.
Yeah. He pulls it down and it's just stacks of TNT. I was like, what?
We got convenient. A plan. We have Mr. P exiting the building, and he's like using this gingerbread tactic of like throwing the crackers so that way cookies so that way it distracts the elves, and he makes his way to the helicopter.
And then I wonder if that's like I don't actually know the reason as to why you're supposed to leave milk and cookies out for Santa. Like if there is a darker reason for it.
There always is.
Like the gingerbread, if it like helped keep Krampus from coming to eat your children.
Yeah,
give him little tiny
sensational
people, gingerbread
it would satiate
people.
his appetite.
Yeah,
I could see that.
I don't know if that's a thing, but I liked that idea.
And so it's in some cultures' version of it, and so it's in the Caitlin culture.
Yes, cookies and milk out for Santa.
And so we do
Norse
have
mythology.
This plan going because Mr. P then like radios to Petri, we're ready to go for liftoff. So he's like, all right. And so they're basically putting all the kids back in the sacks because even Juice was like, why do I got to be in the sack? And he's like, because it's my plan, P, remember?
Yeah, sorry. I was reading about the lore on Nooks and Cookie. Let me tell you about it right now. It's Norse mythology. Odin, the Norse god, was described as owning an 8-legged horse named Sleipnir. Sleipnir. I'm going to go with Sleipnir because it's E-I, and in German you would pronounce the I, which he rode with a raven perched on each of his shoulders. During the Yule season, children left food out for Sleipnir in hopes that Odin would stop by during traveling to leave gifts in return. So it's for Odin.
Odin, interesting.
That's fun.
Yeah, so
I wanted it to be like
harsh.
Yeah.
You can start that.
Yeah.
They're all stories.
I'm going to tell my children.
Just pass it down and pass it down,
we
pass it down,
leave
pass it down,
milk
pass it
and
down.
cookies out.
And centuries from now,
and all of you tell your children this too.
Yes.
Scar them while they're young.
Do it.
Makes them better.
And so that's whenever we do have him, them getting all the kids into this like airlift cargo, and we see that they're going to airlift the kids out. And so we do have the helicopter come in, it works, and then P is going up there with it. And the dad doesn't want him to go, but he's like, no, I'm going. This is going to work. We're going to make it happen. They're like, you're just a kid. And then even the other IMO is like trying to like asking all these questions, and P is just like, shut up.
Yeah, basically.
This is my plan.
P is in charge now.
Let me run it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
I was like, hell yeah, P is leading the show.
And so he really is. He's like wearing all the pants, and they're just listening to him. So he gets airlifted out with all the other kids, and that's whenever the IMO and what's his face start like drilling the dynamite into the thing.
Mr. P was flying a little low to the tree line. And I just got this like vision in my head as I was watching it. I was like, what if he didn't quite make it up over at like the sack of children was just like hitting the trees.
Well, even the whole time when they're flying, they seem like they were just like getting swung.
Oh yeah,
so,
there had to
like,
have been so much throw up in there.
That would have been me.
And then also going from that extreme hot to extreme cold.
Mm-hmm.
They're
sick.
And there was one moment whenever P yells like Yahoo!
Mm-hmm.
That camera angle there as they were taking that turn.
Oh yeah,
it fucked with my head, and I was like, I know that had to have fucked with Josh.
Yeah, it did.
I
looked away.
Ugh.
I looked away.
Yeah, I almost had to.
And so they're getting lifted out. The Aimo and Rao are putting dynamite into this ice. How they do so many and so fast, I don't know, but they do it so fast.
Especially once they stepped away and like we saw the finished product a little bit later. I was like, holy shit.
Makes no sense. Not
y'all
logical.
got to work.
Yeah. And so that's whenever we do have cutting to. We do see that the elves are following the helicopter and all the kids. So he's just like, you know what? Take us to the deer pen.
And he was like, why would we go there? And he's like, we're going to treat them like reindeer.
Mm-hmm.
And even Mr. P like kind of looks down and chuckles. And he's like, damn, this kid's fucking smart.
Yeah.
Basically, he doesn't say that,
Yeah.
but you can tell that's basically what he's thinking. And he was like, that's right. Yeah, we are
on board. And so that's whenever they're doing that at the same time that the other dudes are getting this stuff ready. And so they end up getting to the pin, but it's not turned on. And so that's whenever P is just like, man,
and also the gate's not even open.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. That the gate's not even open.
Get in there. Mm-hmm. And so P is basically like, and also during that point, we also see the dads going to saw off Santa's
the horns. That's right. Yeah.
Which was like, that's a good idea. That
they
seems bad. But okay. But yeah, P jumps down. He just, after saying like, I'm not coming back, because Mr. P's like, no, you're not going down there. I'm not going to let you. And he's like, yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, how are you going to get back up here? And he's like, I'm not coming back. Yeah. And then he's just like,
jumps.
He just jumps
so
right
dramatic,
on.
Yeah.
And then thankfully the thing isn't on because he braces himself on the wires, electrical wires, and then crawls down the little tower and
goes to open the gate, which he does. I thought, man, even this little boy can't open it, but he does open it. And that's whenever he turns on the stuff and he's just waiting there and he's telling talking to Mr. P, and he's just like, tell my dad what I did.
Yeah, I know. I was like, no.
Yeah, literally. Because you're thinking like, oh my God, he's going to sacrifice himself. Because at this point I'm thinking like, there's no way he's going to make it out of this.
I know, because whenever he opened the gate and stuff, they were still remarkably close.
And there's so many of them.
Yeah. And I thought they were just going to eat him alive.
Yep.
And he can't climb back up the electrical tower now because it's charged.
And whenever it all starts going off, like he's gonna get fried with them because there's so many of them. He's gonna get like compacted in there with them like sardines. But it's really great because then we have Aimo and Rao in the truck, and they're leaving off from the hangar, and they have this little wire thing that's like going the fuse, and they're driving off, and they get far enough to where he's just like, all right, and he pushes the button and blows the fuck out of Santa.
Place goes
I don't think they got far enough.
No, whenever I saw how whenever it went to the front of the car and stuff, I was like, y'all are so really close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could have gone a little bit further, but okay.
So it's perfect timing though, because all these elves were running and they were just about to get close enough to P, but then because they killed Santa, they just kind of stop in their tracks, and they're kind of like free from their curse spell, whatever it is that they're.
What the hell do we do? Our dad's gone.
Yeah, because even Mr. P is just like, I think you've just put these elves out of a job.
Yeah.
And
this is where you really see all their Santa pee-pees.
Yeah, you do. And then we also see,
Santa
and then even P is just like, all right, take these kids back to, wherever. And that's whenever he's like, Mr. P's like, yeah, all right. And I'm thinking
he just leaves
him. And I'm like, he's okay with just leaving him with these elves? We don't know if they're
I was like, just because they woke up from this spell doesn't mean that they're not
evil
still going to kill him.
Yeah. So
yeah. I was like, you're just really going to leave P with all these? Okay.
But he does.
And then all four of them with Juuso come rolling up, and it's now daybreak.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know y'all didn't just leave P there alone overnight. Come on.
Enough
time to get Juuso home to go get a blanket.
And so
I left that poor kid. someone could have come back for him.
You were Team Juuso. The way you love Juuso. I mean, P.
Oh yeah,
PT.
like, oh, no, fuck Juuso.
And so they're out there and they're basically trying to. I'm in my head thinking like, what the fuck are they gonna do with all these elves? But they're over there like, what can we get for whatever something Santas?
Yeah, because P is like 198 Santas.
There you go.
Just like his dad had said, and then basically, he goes, "Juuso, what's that worth?" Kind of like how his dad was to Imo earlier, and so now they've got that kind of going back and forth. And Juuso says 16,800,000 plus 22% VAT. I don't know what VAT means,
I don't either.
but and then I was like, that's assuming someone wants to buy 188 naked men.
That's true, but we do see what they end up doing with them.
We have 312 days till Christmas now.
Yep,
They started back up.
bathing all the old men. We see a lot of the peepees now.
Yes.
Yeah, in the scene. And then that's whenever essentially it does seem like they're trying to clean them up, get them ready for something.
Teaching them how to be Coca-Cola Santas.
Yep, because it's day 77 and we're training them. And I think that's whenever they have them like with the
little cloth
make-believe
doll
kids and then like a make-believe present. They're trying to teach them how to like, when kids sit on Santa's lap.
Yeah, and gives them, and like he's like a little present and like picture time. And basically they have P on his dad's lap, just being kind of on a conveyor belt of sorts looking thing, going in front of each of them.
It looks like those things that like directors get on when they're filming and they can like zoom this way and that way.
Yeah. And then basically we get to the last one, or just the one that we stop with, and he's, being very kind to his cloth doll.
He's like the perfect prototype.
He'd become Santa. So then they put a little Santa hat on him.
They make him a manager.
Yeah.
So they promote him.
They do. He's he's graduated from Santa Academy.
Yeah.
Basically. And then this is where we get our title card, because they're shutting one of them in a crate.
Yeah.
And it says rare exports, and they're sending them off somewhere. And then we see just all of these crates, which looked like a lot more than 198, but it's okay. I'll let them have it.
And they just got these live Santas in there.
And they're going to ship them out. It
One
says,
side Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all over the world. It's like each country gets their own Santa.
And I bet you that's a lot of money. And then we see like the hanger opens up and I'm like, how? It's so computerized and stuff. But Mr. P is there with like this big old cargo plane. And it's just
it was like Independence Day.
Yeah, very much so. And they all kind of walking out. And then that's the end of the movie.
Santa was actually an alien.
He was in space. The next movie is in space.
Rare exports in space.
But
I'd watch it.
Yeah. Overall,
and that's how it ends.
It was a pretty good movie. I liked it.
Yeah.
This was a suggested to us by Mike, who is our Rogue Media Network God, yeah. He is pretty much that over here.
He is the Krampus and we are the Santas.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're the elves.
But
I really liked it. I thought it was, especially because we had to cover like the Hokey Pokey ugly Christmas party or ugly Christmas sweater. Oh God,
ugly sweater party.
Ugly sweater party. I can always fuck it up. And so it was nice to have something that kind of was a little bit more on the serious note.
Yeah.
A little more horror. And
well made.
Yeah. And even had like a good little storyline moment with the kid, with P and like his dad and everything. And it really was just good to like have a mix of emotion, scariness, a little bit of like that creature-ish type of vibe, because they're almost creature-like,
Yeah. I really love the fact that they didn't show actual big Santa.
Oh yeah, for real.
Because it's kind of like, again, that thing where they don't show you the face. And because those naked men were plenty terrifying.
They were.
That was really unsettling.
That's really gross. And like,
there was no like physical characteristics really changed about them. It was just, he was fucking creepy looking. His eyes, it was like, this man's out for blood.
And I like what you said too, because it's like, you're right, our imagination will like just let us believe whatever it is. It's a big woolly mammoth.
If you just believe,
like the old man said in the beginning.
Always believe.
But yeah, I would rate it A 3.85. A 3.85. A 3.85. Because, like I said, it had a good storyline. I really liked P. I liked his character. I honestly liked the design of, or not the design, I guess that is a design, the way that they had these old men, like, makeup, or I don't know what it was. Like, they looked just creepy as fuck,
they did.
You know?
I mean,
the styling.
I can believe that
Stylized.
they were frozen under there and, you know, like, cryogenics and stuff, right?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That when things are frozen in ice, they are remarkably preserved.
Captain
so,
America.
Yeah, it's easy to believe that they could look like that.
And so, I really liked, you know, that we're also getting exposed to like another cultural, like, you know, Krampus, Bad Santa type of, you know, story, that I'd never heard of. And it was honestly a good watch. Like, I can't really say too, like, it wasn't too long, it wasn't too short, it had a good story. I felt like, you know how in the other movie where like this 20 minutes could have been cut out because like it had nothing to do with it, like, you know, and this one is just like everything, like we said, it was just like driving the plot emotionally, storyline wise, scary wise. It was all pretty good. Yeah,
I agree. I think I'll give it a 4.
A 4?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I would tell people to watch this movie 100%. And I wouldn't mind watching it again with like my full focus on it. Because it at first, you know, the ending wasn't necessarily my favorite. Yeah. How they hurted them and stuff, like I did, and I thought that was a clever way to tie it back into like, you know, what they were doing with the reindeer.
You think?
No, that was fine too. Oh. It's mainly just the Santa Academy.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, yeah. Like, that's the rare exports part.
Yeah, they had to get that part back in, so I understand why they did it. But it, like, I also understand it's a Christmas movie, but it would have been really fun if it was rare exports because it was, like I said, like they're selling
the meat.
Yeah. Something dark. Yeah. Something really dark. That would have been pretty fun. But overall, the entire movie itself, I thought was really, like you said, well done. And there weren't any, I mean, I enjoy a slow burn, but everything had a purpose. I mean, most of the time slow burns still have a purpose. Yeah. And also, it was just like last week's. Yeah,
and that's not even to say that it's just so much all at once. It's so fast. It's just all pretty on point. There's nothing that really strays away that you're thinking like, well, that was kind of
unnecessary. Yeah. None of it was unnecessary. Every little bit that you saw
was a small detail. Meaning. Even like when he ran off with the police and they went into Imo's place and then like that little hairdryer bit and then the hairdryer being at the hanger, because you're even at that point I was thinking like, why is it there? And then you realize, oh shit,
they're trying to find everything to heat and defrost Santa, tying it back to Jack Frost. Yeah, they got an idea from Jack Frost.
That's true.
Hairdryers,
1997. Shout out to Jack Frost.
That's right. But yes, so 4, 3.85. That's basically a 4.
I was gonna say I'm just gonna bump mine up to a 4. Let's do it.
Yay!
In the mood of the holiday spirit, we're gonna give it a 4.
We're still in it, even though it's 2 days later, because it's technically hasn't happened for us yet. But in this time, we're time travelers.
We are.
Woo! But as always, we're in the lovely Rogue Media Network studios. They take great care of us.
They do.
And you can listen to us and all the other podcasts. There's plenty of amazing ones. Josh actually was just on another one right before this.
Called One Star Rewind.
That's right. And so if you want to listen to his episode with Corey, whenever that comes out, talking about Molly's.
By the time that this is out, it would have already dropped.
Okay, great. So you have time to listen.
Go back and find it. Yeah, go find me on there.
And listen to Josh talk about his fantastic
my day job
restaurant because it's hella delicious. And if you're ever in the Waco area, or if you live in the Waco area, get your ass over to Molly's.
Come try us out.
Really yummy. Breakfast and lunch only. Closed on Sundays and Mondays.
I love it. You know it.
But so you can listen to all those podcasts on roguemedianetwork.com or a slew of other podcasting platforms, biggest 2.
Spotify
and Apple. But wherever you do listen, don't forget to
rate, review, like, and subscribe, you guys,
because that is the only way we can get ahead in this world. And don't leave us a 1 star.
Yeah, no 1 stars, please.
Yeah,
no 1 stars.
And then if you want to let us know your favorite scary movie or your favorite, how you felt about this movie if you've seen it. I had never heard of it before.
I haven't either until Mike's mentioned it.
Yeah.
I'm glad he did.
I'm glad he did as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so would 1000% recommend you go watch it. It's free on Tubi. It's also on Hulu.
Yep.
And so plenty of places to go watch it. And you can let us know how you felt about it on Instagram. And that is at
BooBaes Podcast, BOOBAES, because we are your BooBaes, not your BooBabes.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, this is the end of 2023.
Wow. Last
We've
one of
done-
the year. That's so crazy.
I know.
Whoa, wait.
2022.
Yeah,
I jumped
2022.
a
I
whole
was like,
year.
wait, what? But yeah, the last one for the year. That's wild. It's been a fun ride.
It has. And next week, we'll be
Yeah.
covering a New Year's film, even though it's
Comes out-
technically January 3rd.
But, it's still the same week. Still
Yeah,
May.
exactly.
And yeah,
We can
It-
still be in
it's
that
fun.
spirit.
to cover themed movies. And then we're going to jump out of that for a while.
Yeah.
And get back into some horror. I'm excited because the Scream and all that stuff is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, granted, we already covered those, but there's just a lot of stuff coming out.
Well, we
too.
covered all of them last year around this time because Scream came out basically on my
5,
birthday
yeah.
last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we had the Screamathon.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was fun times.
It was fun.
But anyways,
We have
Oh,
lots
what?
of fun things planned
We do.
for maybe, trying to make this a little bit bigger of a podcast, I
Mhm.
suppose, in 2023. So keep your ears peeled.
Yes.
Eyes and ears.
Eyes and ears.
Yes. But don't get them too close to a Santa because you'll get your ear bitten off. And so until next time, and we'll see you next year.
Exactly. I was about to say, until next year. Bye.
Such a dad joke. Bye,
Bye,
bays. You have to say it.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.